When faith is the only weapon, Marina gasped for breath, her heart hammering in her chest. The echoes of the Mavka's voice still rang in her head, its song almost pulling her into the abyss. She clutched the cross necklace around her neck, feeling a faint warmth spread from it, a warmth not from the forest, but from within herself. Artem noticed her movement and did the same, gripping his own cross. "We can't separate," he said, his eyes locked on Maxim. "Our strength is in unity. If one of us falls behind, we're lost." Maxim nodded in silent agreement and tightened his grip on the protective charm in his hand. "Either we make it out together," he muttered, "or this thing destroys us." A whisper moved through the forest. It was not one voice, but many. A chorus of unseen beings stirred in the shadows. The forest did not like when people held on to faith. Suddenly the trees began to shift. Branches stretched, interweaving into a twisting tunnel, the earth beneath them growing softer, almost spongy, like ancient moss. Flickering ghostly lights danced between the trunks, appearing and vanishing like a game of deception. But the three friends pressed forward. Then a sound, not laughter, not whispering, a child's giggle. Marina's grip on Artem's hand tightened. "That's not a chort," she whispered. Maxim's face darkened. "No, that's something worse." Then out of the darkness, she appeared, a small girl. She couldn't have been older than 7. She wore a thin, white dress, tattered at the edges, her hair tangled and unkempt. Her bare feet were smeared with dirt. She lifted her head and smiled. "Uncle," she said in a delicate, sing-song voice. Her eyes were too big. "Too dark, I'm scared," she whispered. "Will you take me with you?" Marina stepped forward, but Maxim and Artem yanked her back at the same time. "Don't move," Artem hissed. The little girl tilted her head, as if confused. "Why won't you help me?" she asked. Her voice changed. It dropped lower. Almost in human. Marina froze. The girl smiled again. Her lips darkened, her eyes grew wider. "You're not leaving," she whispered, and behind her, the trees parted. What they saw made their blood run cold. The guardian oak, but not just the oak. It glowed, a pulsating, eerie red light, and beneath it, figures stood, shadows, too many to count, and they were waiting. The light beneath the guardian oak, the glow that seeped from beneath the guardian oak, was unlike any ordinary light. It did not simply illuminate the ground, it pulsated, like the heartbeat of some ancient entity, thrumming in rhythm with the night itself. And there, nestled within the tangled roots at the very center of the eerie glow, it lay, the fern flower. It was unlike any flower known to man. Its petals burned like fire, flickering with hues of red and gold, the edges gently smoldering, releasing tiny sparks that drifted into the darkness. Yet it did not burn, it simply glowed as if alive. Its stem was thin, deep green with a faint silver shimmer, and tiny, luminous spirals circled around it, appearing and vanishing like whispers carried by the wind. The flower breathed, not with air, but with an unseen force, something old, something that had been sleeping for centuries and had just begun to wake. But around it, they were waiting, the spirits. Their forms were formless, woven from night mist, but their eyes black, hollow, as if burned into existence, stood out starkly in the gloom. There were dozens, hundreds. They did not move. They only watched. Some had elongated, hollow faces, empty sockets where eyes once were. Others appeared as fractured figures, silhouettes of those who had sought the flower centuries before and never returned. They did not speak, but their whispers were felt, not as words, but as sensations, cold fingers tracing the spine, the weight of unseen eyes pressing down, the silent pull of something forbidden. You should not be here. You are not the ones the oak is waiting for. The flower is not yours to take. And then the wind rose. The dry leaves rustled in a sudden, unnatural gust, and the spirits began to move, not waiting, not watching, coming closer. A step into darkness, a step into fate. Maxim, Artem, and Marina stood frozen, entranced by the horrifying vision before them. Behind them, something stirred in the shadows, Mavka's courts, and forest spirits waiting for a single mistake. Ahead the guardian oak, towering and ancient, and the spirits standing still beneath its twisted branches, and between them the fern flower. It flickered, as if breathing, as if calling to them. "We have to go," Maxim whispered, clutching his cross. "There's no way back now." But they, Artem's gaze flickered toward the spirits, forming an impenetrable wall. "Don't look into their eyes," Marina exhaled. "They feed on fear. If they sense we're afraid, we won't leave here alive." This wasn't confidence. This was instinct. Step by step, the three pressed forward. The spirits moved closer. They cast no shadows. Their lips did not move, yet their whispers shattered the air. "You do not belong here. You are not the ones the oak awaits. Turn back." But the adventurers did not stop. They did not look into the empty sockets of the spirits. They did not heed their voices. They did not let fear consume them. Each step was heavier, as if the air had thickened, as if the ground itself was pulling them back. One more step. Another. The spirits were so close now that if they reached out, they could touch them. But they didn't. Maxim stepped forward and in one swift motion reached for the flower. His fingers brushed against the burning petals. A blinding light erupted. For a single moment, everything shuddered, as if the very air had filled with an ancient scream. The spirits wailed, their voices howling like wind through the mountains. And then they began to retreat, fading, dissolving into the mist. Mavka's courts and forgotten phantoms vanished, swallowed by the darkness of the trees. They had done it. They had taken the fern flower. But now, what happens next? Wrath of the night. The darkness does not retreat. The light from the fern flower still flickered in Maxim's grip, but the forest did not become safer. On the contrary, something had changed. The guardian oak remained silent. It seemed to acknowledge their victory, making no move to stop them. But the dark entities, they had not vanished. They had not surrendered. Soft laughter, a distant wail, the rustling of something unseen in the grass, sounds from everywhere. They're not leaving, Marina turned, scanning the darkness. They won't let us go. Maxim clenched the flower tighter. Then we run. And they ran. But the forest was no longer the same. It shifted before their eyes. The path disappeared. The trees moved, rearranging themselves, blocking their way. "We've already passed this spot," Artem gasped, looking around. "They're leading us in circles." Marina was about to say something, but then a Mavka emerged from the shadows. She was different from the one they had seen by the swamp. This one was beautiful, her skin pale, her long black hair glowing faintly, as if something inside had pulsed with its own eerie light. Her eyes deep, dark, hypnotic. She did not attack. She did not scream. She only smiled, waiting. And Artem stopped. Maxim and Marina barely had time to react. "Artem," Marina yelled, but he was already stepping forward. The Mavka extended her hand, and he took it. The moment their fingers touched, his eyes changed. He froze. Then he smiled the same eerie, detached smile as hers. Marina lunged forward, but Maxim grabbed her arm, pulling her back. "Don't look," he shouted. Artem turned toward them, but it was no longer him. His eyes were empty, and when Marina glanced at him for just a second, a whisper filled her mind. "I'm staying here." Then the Mavka pulled him into the darkness. Marina wanted to scream, but the night swallowed the sound. Maxim dragged her away. They had to get out, but the forest was not letting them go.